All right, folks, good afternoon. Extremely fired up for our accelerated retirement session today because at the end of our session, I'm going to open up our 50 slots. Talking to our support folks, there's already about 8 or 9 folks that have already emailed support saying, hey, how do I grab my full throttle slot? And the response has been wait until the end of accelerated retirement. So real quick, tactical items that I've been covering all week, because I still know that this might be the first session for some of you because some of our strategic partners are still emailing based on the fact that we have over 6,000 people who have opted into our, it seems like each time we do a full throttle, every quarter, every couple quarters, the interest just goes through the roof. And obviously I think since we nailed the election, the rally, and just about everything in the past year, it looks like our reputation is really getting out there. So that's pretty damn cool, and that puts a smile on my face. So some of the administrative items, guys, the replay page is right here. I'll share that with you again in case you missed yesterday's urgent alert, the VXX bearish double vertical. Talked about Disney in that video as well. That's the gift that keeps on giving. So let me put the replay in here for folks that need the replay page. And like I said, at the end of, as soon as we get done accelerated retirement, we're going to open up our slots and they will go fast. Make sure you also watch Tuesday's primary live trade brief. Why? Because I talk about an SPX hedge, folks. We'll talk about where I think we're heading now. We're skipping right along the 50-day moving average here, and we're either going to get airborne with some good earnings next week again, or we're going to head south because of a geopolitical event. So that's what we're going to cover. And I already talked about following me on Twitter, WizCheck6, so you can see me on StockTwits. A lot of people didn't even know that was a thing. Well, now you do. Now you know what StockTwits is. Everybody should have the trade plan under the handout section down there in the bottom right. And we'll talk about options house for the folks, for the 50 who do grab their slots by Friday. We'll talk about maybe opening an options house account so you can maybe fly formation with me. Okay. Very fired up. Like I said, we're halfway through our full throttle week. A lot of interest. Don't forget, tonight at 8 o'clock is going to be Doug with his vertical spread training. He's going to give us a sample of what he does during his 8 sessions you're going to get as a new full throttle member. And remember, for all my veterans, my current full throttle members at TGO, you get access every time we do a full throttle to Doug's training for free. That's $495 right there. That's an added value. Whoever just asked what the schedule is for today, I think you read my next slide. I'll do a quick intro. We'll take a look at the performance of the accelerated retirement 2016 year to date. And then I give us our SOT, right? A strategic brief. A lot of things going on strategically, folks, and that's what's impacting the market right now. It is all about geopolitics right now and very little about the fundamentals of the market. And then we'll do an operational brief about what's going on here in the United States, how earnings are looking, and what's going on politically, tax reform, infrastructure spending, and all that good stuff. We'll take a look at the some positions in the portfolio and the adjustments that need to be made. We're going to take a potential look at, I think I'm looking at a Facebook trade for now, a JP Morgan. Love JP Morgan. That's our long financial in this portfolio, even though the financials are a little weak right now, coming into earnings kicking off next week. I think JP Morgan is tomorrow. Before market open. So we'll talk about all that stuff. And then we have, nope, that's from my last one. We are already started counting down. It's 50 slots at the end of this webinar, and we'll see who's jumping on them. Like I said, we already have a bunch of support tickets of people who are ready to grab their slot, and they don't even know what the slot is yet. So that puts a smile on my face. So here we go, folks. Monday we did our welcome aboard. Yesterday we did our PLTB at 10, and I sent out an urgent alert video in the afternoon. Everybody should have watched that by now. We're doing AR, accelerated retirement, right now at 1 o'clock, and we're going to open our slots at the end of this. Tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, all times are Eastern, Doug's going to do his vertical spread training. And remember, Doug's an earnings guy, man. This is a great time to be getting on board with Full Throttle because he is that earnings guy. He's got a couple great earnings trades coming up. He loves playing that rise in implied volatility versus historical, and then the vol smash after earnings. So make sure you check it on board tonight or watch the replay. And then we right? Doug demonstrates tonight vertical spreads, and tomorrow in his advanced live trade brief, he's going to do, okay? He'll also send out an advanced trade alert on whatever symbol he has. And then Friday, even though the market's closed, folks, we're still going to do our weekly options live trade brief at 1, and we're probably going to that's probably when our slots are going to be full. Sometimes it goes maybe till Saturday as people maneuver or talk to their significant others. Sometimes we get full by Thursday after Doug does his live trade brief, because some people want to say, all right, well, let me see what Doug's doing, and then the slots go. So very, very excited. Guys, you know me by now. If this is your first webinar, welcome aboard. My name's Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Wiz. Former Hornet guy for the Navy, Top Gun grad, bad guy, so to speak, a good bad guy. Flew 44 missions over Iraq, and then went to the, took my trading literally from the cockpit to the trading pit. I applied everything that I learned flying a fighter aircraft to my trading, having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a bad situation before it got worse, and knowing when to get out of a good situation before it got worse. That eventually led me to pop up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the United States, Peak 6 Investments. And then while I was there at Peak 6, I became the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN.TV, essentially the CNBC for options, because even though they got John and Pete Najarian on there, you guys know CNBC kind of pays lip service to options. It's like, oh yeah, okay, there are those things out there too, and we'll talk about them every once in a while. So I think one of my crowning achievements in my career was we were going to buy advertising on CNBC, and they wouldn't let us because they called us a competitor. And I actually had to jump on an airplane and fly to Englewood Cliffs and meet their heavies and convince them that I wasn't a competitor. So they were actually turning away 7 digits, which was pretty interesting. But they relented eventually, and some of you guys probably saw my commercials on CBC. But anyway, here we go. If that, and again, if this was your first session and you don't know who the hell I am or TGO is, you have to watch Monday night's replay, okay? Monday night at 8, that's why I did it after trading hours, is because it was the history of TGO, my personal background, our trading methodology with our 7-step trade plan, and also that pyramid SOT, strategic, operational, and then tactical. So make sure you watch the replay there, okay? Here it is real quick in a nutshell, SOT. Many of you are very, very tactical traders. You don't do anything that I'm going to show you I do today, and you're very tactical. Today I'm going to give you my strategic brief. We got to talk about North Korea. We got to talk about Russia and how Putin has decided to meet with Tillerson. Initially when he said last week, no, I'm not going to meet with him. I think he's doing it now to take him to the woodshed, and we'll talk about that. Then we're going to get operational. We'll talk about a little bit of earnings. We're going to talk about where the market is, hugging this 50-day moving average and what the potential next steps are for the market. And then and only then can we get tactical and talk about trades. Remember, nothing I've covered this week has been an options strategy. They've all been tactics, right? The bearish double vertical, I got a lot of good comments sent to support saying, wow, I'd never seen a tactic like that before. Well, that's why you're here at TGO, is to learn about stuff, is some pretty cool trades. Because at the end of the day, folks, I really hope you're starting to believe, like I do, that trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. And if you think that Wall Street's just going to take it easy on you in a trade just because you're you, one of my partners up there, who shall remain nameless, used to laugh and call retail traders cordwood. You guys are just kindling for us. Your liquidity. That's kind of the way Wall Street looks at you. That's not the way I'm going to train you. We're not liquidity. Okay? I covered this acronym Monday night. Not fear. We got North Korea, oil, Trump, the Fed, earnings, and Europe, so 2 E's in there. A for Asia, we got Japan and China, and then R is obviously Mother Russia. So again, watch Monday night's replay to get an in-depth look at each one of those letters in that acronym, and we should be good to go. All right, folks, everybody should have their 7-step trade plan. Look under the handout section in the bottom right of the screen. And everybody pull out their trade plan, because that's what we're going to go through there. So it's a PDF. It says TGO trade plan, 1 page, and you guys can pull that up and have that handy. Okay. That was pretty good. I went in 10 minutes. I got 9. Any questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways, up until this point with full throttle. Any questions before we get into accelerated retirement? Just to give you a heads up, this is the normal accelerated retirement webinar, so I have a lot of my members in here. So you're joining us. I'm kind of training you here, demo do, every Wednesday at 1 o'clock is accelerated retirement. Now the strategic mindset for this portfolio is a little bit more conservative, but when was it? 2 years ago, the accelerated retirement portfolio actually beat my other ones, which is kind of not going to say comical, but it was very interesting. The conservative trades, the conservative portfolio actually beat some of my more aggressive ones. Last year, it did absolutely awesome and triple-digit return. It was a 101 or right there at 100% return, and I can show you that here in a little bit. So to the end, let me get over to here. Kat or whoever's looking, it is in the bottom right of. It says TGO trade plan, and you can click on it and you can download it. So I can't help you if you're not finding it. All right, here we go. I'm going to go. The AR session every Wednesday at 1 o'clock is only an hour. Okay, it's not like an hour and a half to 2 hours like the primary live trade brief or Doug's session tomorrow. He usually goes on Thursdays for about an hour and a half to 2 hours as well. AR, it's about an hour. I don't send out text alerts. With my AR trades, I send out email alerts because they're not super timely. The trades we look at aren't like a weekly options trade, like, hey, I want to get this in your hands right away, or the primary live trade brief one. So just keep that in mind. So here we go. And remember, I know, and the people asking in the chat box for the link to sign up. Guys, let me just get through this. I want to do an AR session so you get to see it all. I appreciate your motivation wanting to sign up early, but I want to kind of fire the gun at the same moment so everybody has a chance because they might be waiting to see accelerated retirement before they make a decision to grab their slot. And some of you might, well, I haven't even met this Doug guy yet, so I'm going to maybe wait until later. Completely understand, that makes sense, but if you liked me so far, you're definitely going to like Doug as well. So here we go. So just hang on, I will put the link up at the end. Folks, I have to brief you on what the full throttle program is. We have 3 slots, tracks, more or less. Like full throttle defensive is everything we do plus this, accelerated retirement. The offensive is all of that, but instead of accelerated retirement, you get weekly options. So some people might be in a little more defensive mode track, some people a little bit more offensive, and guess what? A lot of you, our most popular one is called full throttle. It's the max track, max afterburner, where you get AR, accelerated retirement, and weekly options. So I will explain all of that at the end. Okay, so I appreciate everybody's motivation here, but we will I'll get to that. Let's focus on the because I hate all that stuff, folks. It's marketing, it's sales. Obviously, as a businessman, that's what pays the bills. But we got to talk about trading here because we're in a very precarious position here, and it's interesting because somebody yesterday when I was putting on the SPX bear put spread, and you guys know me, even if you don't know me well enough by now, I like being the house. I like being the the Bellagio. Casinos don't look the way they look because they give away money, right? So you want to be the car dealership. I like being a seller, but right now I put on that hedge yesterday, and somebody said, as we were in the session, it looked like the market turned around a little bit yesterday, didn't it? And he said, well, why would we put this on if the market's turning around? I'm like, do you know that? Can you tell me what it's going to do tomorrow, the next day, and the next day? That's an indication to me of a very tactical mindset. We're not thinking strategically. So we are in a binary trade right now. We've run right into this 50-day moving average, and something's got to give. One of the things it's giving right now is this. Geopolitical events, man. I haven't seen this, even the Libya stuff under Obama, the fake red lines that he drew. I can't remember a time where we've seen this many geopolitical events really that could, any one of them can bring this market to a screeching halt. So it sounds like Trump with his tweet the other day said, hey, we'd love China's help with North Korea. If they don't give it, we'll do it on our own. He's really doing some poking here, folks, around the world, and kind of poked the guy in the chest and said, I'd love your help. It would be great. If you worked on trade, it would be even better for all of us, but we'll take care of North Korea on our own if you don't. And you have to pause for a moment, folks, and really take that in for a second. What does that mean? We'll take care of this on our own. 2-3 weeks ago, the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, said what? The time for strategic patience is over. So we're either heading for an armed conflict or SEAL Team 6, a surgical strike, or whatever it is to assassinate this guy and hope that some of his generals that the CIA has gotten to, who are in place, maybe that I know about, are ready to govern. So folks, this is again, the the FIA convention was down at the Boca Hotel about a month ago, the Futures, and I by the end of one of my 20-minute rants over, my fifth tequila drink, I was shocked that these quote financial heavies weren't even thinking about all of this stuff. Okay, so it was a little disconcerting. They were all looking at me with the color run out of their face, like, holy crap, this is all going on. I'm like, how much are you managing? So this has got to be on our radar, folks. South Korea paper is reporting that China's deployed 150,000 troops to the North Korean border. One of the reasons it's in China's best interest to sit on South Korea is that they have a buffer between South Korea, which is great capitalism and everything's awesome and freedom and people, and they impeached their president last month, and it's a democracy. They love having the caveman in between them and the West. So guess what? They have a backstop. Like if something is going to happen, ain't no millions of North Koreans going to be walking across the border into China looking for a better life. So this at least shows that China's either serious, because these aren't 150,000 from what I have gleaned, combat troops. Most of them are hospital and civil engineer, meaning we think something might, and you guys know this, it's strategery, right? China, to try and scare their little cousin a little bit more, might be saying, putting all these hospital troops and civil engineers down there, like saying, hey, we think something's going to happen, dude, so either wake up or don't. I got to be honest with you, folks. So you can't reason with a guy who's a lunatic. It's like trying to, to sit down at a table and rationalize with radical Islamic people who want nothing more than to reach across the table and stab you in the throat. So the guy's crazy. A high-level Korean defector was interviewed by, what's his name, Lester Holt, a couple weeks ago, and he looked in the camera. He's like, you guys don't know who you're dealing with. This guy literally is certifiable. So this is going to get worse before it gets better, guys. Okay, so these are the things that keep me up at night. And if it doesn't happen, I will be pleasantly surprised and happy. Now let's stay strategic and go to this. Very, very pointed words out of Lavrov, who said, if there is another missile strike into Syria by the United States, that's the end. Meaning, I don't know. What are we going to get in a shooting war with Russia? Putin has actually agreed now to meet with Tillerson. Last week after the missile strike, he said, nope, I'm pissed at the United States. Not going to meet with the Secretary of State. Now he's agreeing to meet with him. And I think it's because he's going to take him to the woodshed, meaning finger in the chest, Mr. Secretary. So this is ugly too. You guys, I know for a fact that the Russians knew that those planes taking off out of that airfield were armed with chemical weapons, and they are complicit in it. So it really is, let's see, Iran, Russia, and Syria on one side, and then civilized nations on the other. So this is another one, guys, that is really, really hitting home for me. I'm not not super bullish with this. Is the last, like I said, I can't remember the last time I briefed so much strategic stuff that is that's potentially bad. So again, for the guy yesterday who's like, why are we putting on a bear put spread if the market turned around? Hey man, if any one of these things happens in a bad way, we're looking at at an implosion down to the 200-day moving average in the blink of an eye. John, looks like with all that said on step one of the trade plan, we are in a neutral market now, at least. That's a good way to look at it, John. To me, I'm still going to say I'm cautiously bullish. And the reason the cautiously is everything I just said. That's why I'm cautiously. And then the bullish is what? We have Q1 earnings coming out here, guys. I think we're going to see the best quarter, Yeah, John, another John. I was going to leave that political commentary out. To all my liberal friends, I will use that. Where's the? I haven't heard in a week and a half on the Mad Cow on MSNBC or anybody else the whole Russia, Trump, Putin, and election interfering and all this crap. First of all, did Putin? Am I a sleeper KGB agent that was ordered to go vote for Trump on the election? I really don't get it. But the whole narrative, folks, that these guys are buddy-buddy is over with. We're one missile shot into Syria away from war, allegedly, based on their foreign minister, the way he's talking, from war. So that whole narrative, Democrats, Where's that now? So the reason, guys, and John, good segue, you're beating me, which is great, is I am cautiously bullish still. Cautiously meaning I got my hedges on, but I really think that the earnings are going to be strong. Financial earnings are going to be interesting. Their current, remember, folks, when an earnings report comes out, it's the rear view mirror, right? It's like driving around the Daytona 500 looking in your rear view mirror. That doesn't do any good. I'm looking for the spoken or the written word. I can't wait for Jamie Dimon. We saw his letter come out last week to his shareholders, more or less saying it sounded like he was running for president. There's a lot wrong with the U.S. Like, really, Jamie? So I think financials, we got to listen to what they're saying the future is going to hold, with obviously maybe 2 to 3 more interest rate increases down the road. I think financials will get airborne again. But again, folks, I have to keep saying this. We are one geopolitical incident away from a massive implosion, and we're heading down. But that's the other reason, guys, to make sure, like in our Jan 18 or Jan 19 positions, especially Facebook here, really, really, really good looking trades in Facebook. Where's our Jan 19 trade? $6 grand. Here's a Jan 18 trade. I think that's up about $8 grand. We'll talk about Facebook here in a little bit, but if we are expecting a potential something crazy happening, you want to be long good companies that aren't going to be completely flushed down the toilet, or that people are going to go into and buy on a dip, like an Apple. If we pull back from these all-time record highs, it's phenomenal. Ken, is Brexit also a potential cause for implosion? Zero chance of an implosion because of the Brexit. That was a 2.5-day event, folks. That we had bullish double verticals on VXX going into the Brexit that made 11 grand, and the exact opposite trade, I did a bearish double vertical just before they voted, and we made another 11. We made $22,000 in Brexit trades. The Brexit doesn't matter anymore, guys. It's happening. I think it's a good question. I think the only geopolitical risk for Europe is a Le Pen victory in France. Exactly, Rebecca. French elections, question mark. I guess pale in comparison to North Korea. They really do. That nothing is as big, folks, right now as potential war in the Korean Peninsula, folks. I told you, I have buddies on I know the CAG, the commander of the air group, on the Vincent. Let's just say he's not as timely getting back to me now with his emails because he's got a day job. The Vincent battle group sitting right off there, it's bad. So, Hans, what if we jump out from our leaps, take a profit, and then get back in when more certainty comes? Hans, that's exactly right. Right now, if your strategic mindset is neutral to a little bit of bearish, you know what you do? Yeah, maybe you close some of the longs, keep your powder dry, and then get longer. Tech stocks back in favor as financials lag. Well, today and a little bit of yesterday, we started to see a little softness in the techs as well. And we'll talk about the VIX and volatility here in a couple minutes once we get tactical. But there's a lot of canaries in the coal mine here, guys, that we are in this is why I'm extremely happy we're doing a full throttle this week, because I am getting to show you, hey, let's get a little defensive here. Let's put an ejection seat in our portfolio. But let's, for the cautiously part, now let's do the bullish as well. If I was super bearish here, guys, or was neutral to bearish, we'd trim our sails a little bit differently. But again, I believe that we're going to hang on this 50-day moving average. We all laughed yesterday when I used the Price is Right analogy, right? Everybody, the game I loved the most on the Price is Right was that mountain climber. They play that yodel music as the mountain climber is yodeling up the hill, and hopefully you got the price right or the guy fell off. So that's where we are right now. We're a little below this 50-day, just like there's the Obamacare implosion. And again, I am as harsh on Republicans as I am Democrats. You guys voted 60 times to repeal Obamacare under Obama, and you're 0 for 1 under a Republican. What a bunch of clowns. Ryan, ultimate clown. And now Ryan's coming out and saying what? We don't think we're going to get, they already left, didn't they? They're on their Easter break or something like that. And then when they come back, they have like 2 weeks before the government shutdown. So the Republicans are really shining their ass, excuse my French, and I'm furious with them too. But the fact that Ryan's saying, hey, we ain't going to get any tax reform anytime soon is very, very bearish. Okay, Mike posted the mountain climber in the chat box. That's awesome. There you go, Kat. Yep, good mutual support. I appreciate that. Okay, I think that's about it for my strategic and operational brief. I mean, Morgan Stanley sent out a note the other day that said, hey, think 1999 and not partying like it with Prince, but Morgan Stanley sees huge 30% surge in stocks that investors cannot afford to miss. Now, if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Morgan Stanley was also one of the big houses that said Hillary wins walking away, and if Trump wins, the market implodes 10%. Wrong. I called every one of these guys out, and we did the exact opposite, folks. Our portfolios crushed it with the election. Getting on our JP Morgan trades. JP Morgan's a little under pressure today, obviously in front of earnings. But look at here's a $16,000 profit on our one of our JP Morgan trades out to Jan 18. And the Jan 19 one's just kind of getting airborne. Not worried about this. JP Morgan is a gift below 90, guys. And this is a, look at us. We're just hovering. It's a double bottom here around this 86, 85-ish. This is a gift. So in the primary live trade brief portfolio, guys, I have Goldman Sachs. In the accelerated retirement portfolio, JP Morgan. Okay. Let's go ahead and exactly, guys. Good comments. I like this. Andrew, what do I expect out of JP Morgan earnings? Well, we kind of saw it last week, guys. I shared with you the JP Morgan or Jamie Dimon letter to his shareholders. I think he kind of previewed. He said things look good. He said, well, for him and JP Morgan, which is bullish, but he said things look horrible for the country. It really read like a, hey, I'm going to run for president. Hey, it's funny how a lot of CEOs, whether you're George Schultz at Starbucks or whoever else, great article in the journal that said, hey, a lot of CEOs are doing the whole head scratch like, hold on a second. If this guy can be president, what the hell's wrong with me? Jamie Dimon was Trump's first phone call to potentially be the Treasury Secretary. And he said no, because it would be a pay cut and I had better things to do. And I might run for president. So it's correct, John C. JP Morgan isn't about necessarily their earnings, which is, again, the rear view mirror. It's about their forward guidance. So I expect Jamie, I expect earnings to be good, and then I expect it to him to guide higher here. So I think it's a gift down here, guys. I would absolutely. And when you grab your full throttle slot today, next week's accelerated retirement session at this time, for all the new folks, I'm going to sit here and go painstakingly through each position and say, hey, yes or no. Yes, this is a position I would add today, or no, this one's already passed, or it's way airborne past you. So we'll do that next week when with all our new full throttle members. Okay, I think that's about all I have for my operational brief. This was a good article. This is another reason I'm bullish on Goldman. How Goldman Sachs made more than $1 billion with your credit score. They bought TransUnion in 2012. You know what they did? They mined all of your data and sold it like you read about. Goldman Sachs is awesome. They're the Death Star. I mean, they really are. What was it in that Rolling Stone article years ago about them being the giant vampire squid sucking on the face of America, and it's an apropos call sign. I jokingly say Goldman Sachs, Twinkies, and cockroaches will survive the next nuclear explosion, and Goldman Sachs most likely will be the one financing it and the rebuilding it. Kat, that's exactly right. Well, and I think I told you this yesterday. We have a Goldman Sachs put underneath Goldman Sachs. Why do we have that? There's 5 people. There's 2 people in the cabinet, folks, that came from Goldman Sachs, and there's 3 other heavies, the Treasury Secretary and Deputy Treasury Secretary as well. So and Khan. I always think of Captain Kirk yelling Khan when I say that, but Khan's right in the tax plan, folks. So yeah, there's a revolving door between Washington and Goldman Sachs right there. I love your French. Thanks, Benoit. Benoit, where are you? It's like, where's Waldo? Where are you now? You Switzerland, Sweden, France? Benoit's one of our folks. We'll see if we get any new countries this time around. I was looking at some of the registration places, and there are some countries that we don't have. We have 37 countries represented. You're in Geneva. Okay. All right, folks. So there you go. Look at that. It ticked to 1:30, as I said. There you go, folks. 30-minute strategic and operational brief is right in the wheelhouse with what I want to do. Okay, accelerated retirement. Like I said, we had a triple-digit return in, what was it? Where's my AR here? Here is the 2016. Just broke $100,000 return. Look at the biggest gainer there in AR is our JP Morgan trade. And again, not that I'm Nostradamus, but I predicted all fall. I was in a dour mood. I'll be honest with you. Even my members were like, "Hey, Wiz, you okay?" Just watching TV made me want to, rip the screen off the wall. I knew all the polls were lying. I knew the mainstream media was lying. I was out on the speaking circuit, like you guys know. I talked to real people. I'm a real person, but I was on Main Street talking to frontline salespeople, speaking to McKesson in Vegas. I'd bump into people, and they kind of lean in and go, "Hey, I'm voting for Trump, by the way," like I was a pollster. So I knew it. So accelerated retirement absolutely crushed it. Ray, all of these model portfolios started as a $100,000 model portfolio. So I think the AR one, AR has been around for 4 years, and we're up to 253, or 3 years. I forget how long AR has been around. And I can get you all these performance figures. But let's go through. Let me just give you a high-level view of what we have in AR here. We have a bunch of Apple positions, love Facebook, we have China, we have JP Morgan, we have Russia, which I know makes people's skin crawl, and I have the financial ETF. Ignore that one. Don't get in the XLF, folks. And we can talk about that over a beer. Now, let me ask you all a question, especially after the PLTB yesterday and knowing my methodology. On a day like today, when the S&P's down 10 and the market's off 74, the Dow's off 74, what is wrong with this portfolio? Somebody hit me with it. What is wrong with this portfolio? That's exactly right. Good. Excellent. Excellent, guys. You're good. So, and here's the answer to it. I'm glad everybody's being excellent, guys. Same color, no hedges. Excellent. So in my urgent alert portfolio that you guys should have watched the video by now, and if you didn't, go to the replay page. I have 2 SPX bear put spreads on, and in the PLTB portfolio, I have, did I look? No, I was focused on AR today. I didn't see if I got filled on my bear put spread yesterday. Let me get a show of hands. How many of you got filled on the bear put spread yesterday from the PLTB? David, Hans, Benoit, Kai, Chuck. Good. Excellent. Okay. Rebecca missed it on the road, still need a hedge. Excellent. And a lot of my other members that are answering said, hey, I already have one of the other ones on, so you're good to go. So as long as I'm hedged in, because when I open the slots here in a little bit, folks, as long as you're in one of those other portfolios and with the full throttle tracks, you're going to get to choose which services you want, you should have a hedge. So even though I don't have one in here, I'm hedged in across my portfolio. So I just wanted to point that out, because I didn't want you to sit here and be afraid to ask the question like, okay, this guy preaches to have a hedge. Well, I got 3 of them in various portfolios. So I am as a portfolio manager here at TGO, I feel very comfortable with where our hedge is on, because, and I have to hit this one more time, guys, we are on the precipice here, man. We tested this 50-day a couple weeks ago after the Obamacare fiasco, and we're testing it again right now. We're either going to get airborne based on good earnings, which is to the happy spot up here in the white space, or something, we're one geopolitical event away from an implosion. Okay, and that's what hedges are designed to do. Is, man, I call them bilge pumps, right? If I'm the USS Top Gun options, if our portfolios take a couple torpedoes, those hedges turn on and they turn into bilge pumps and they keep us afloat. Okay, so let's. I got to beat the drum there, guys. All right, so the new trade that I actually do want to take a look at Facebook. Which is the happy place down to the lower support. Well, folks, if there's a geopolitical event, all bets are off. I use this analogy often. When we test these this 50-day, I use the World War I analogy. I like my military analogies. This is no man's land. Remember trench warfare in World War I? Nobody went out in here. It was suicide. So here's the U.S., the Allied lines, and here's the Germans. If we break through here, man, I think it's a kamikaze attack, another military analogy, down to the 200-day. It's look out below. So this, we're in a very dangerous position here, guys. Cautiously bullish. You really need those hedges on. I can't stress that enough. And that's what I'm going to teach you here at TGO is how to dogfight this market. And I'll say this again, and I'll beat the drum on this. As an options trader, we don't care which way the market is going, up, down, sideways. We can, if we do break due to a geopolitical event, and here's Tillerson going to be in a press conference here. Wish I could listen to that, but we'll be able to tell by the market reaction what is being said. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll very, very interesting position here, guys. So if we do roll over or a geopolitical event happens, I am going to we're going to pound this into the dirt, folks, with bearish double verticals on SPX or bullish double verticals on SDS. You know what? Let me cover that right now. Here's another potential hedge that many of you have never heard on. Look at this, SDS. This is the ProShares Ultra Short S&P 500. I might have just talked myself into a trade, although I want to get the Facebook trade on. If you don't know what this means, ultra short, let me overlay the S&P 500 on it. Watch this. So as the market goes up, SDS goes down 2 times. That's what ultra means. As the market goes down, SDS goes up. It's an inverse relationship, okay? So this is another potential hedge. If you think the S&P 500 is going to give some back, I know we have a hedge, our bear put spreads, but SDS, if no kidding, you think the market's going to roll over, this is an excellent candidate right now for a bullish double vertical. Okay? Stephen, if you're an AR only, I would look at what I'm talking about right now, maybe a bullish double vertical in SDS, because if the market's going to roll over here, if we're going to break this 50-day moving average, it's going to be with some airspeed. It's going to be because of an event. We're not going to melt down here, guys. You rarely melt and just kind of wallow below the 50-day. Remember, until the I'm kind of half serious and half joking, until the computers become self-aware and then kill all of us, they're still programmed and they're still human intervention. So I was on a lot of phone calls and Skypes this morning about, are we hanging here on the 50-day? And if not, it's going to be with airspeed. So if you think there's going to be a break to the downside, it's going to be with airspeed. So you know what? Maybe I will cover this. I would look at, since some of you are in just AR only, which it's a better deal to be in a full throttle package, but to each his own. I'm trying to save you some money. I would look at a bullish double vertical on SDS. Philippe, we're having lower highs and higher lows in the market. All of these canaries in the coal mine, folks. I love what you're bringing up. Now let's look at our buddy the VIX. Okay, look at this. We are at the highest level of vol since when? Since Hillary won the election. Oh, that's right, she didn't. So look at this. When's the last time we saw vol this high, Wiz? November. So the market's either telling us we're getting ready to roll over or we're scared that we're going to roll over. Either way, Hans, I'm not in AR. Is the SDS trade for me too? Absolutely. Folks, this is for anybody. It doesn't matter which portfolio you're in. And for folks that are just in one of my services, I got to be honest with you, we price the full throttle slots, which I'm going to show you at the end, to be a better deal than just being in one. So if you're a good trader, in about 25 minutes, you're going to grab a full throttle slot and upgrade. But I digress. Let me get back to SDS here, guys. So like I said, you should have your trade plan out. My strategic mindset is cautiously bullish. Now let's take care of the cautiously, and then maybe with some time we'll put on a Facebook trade there, okay? Benoit, the Euro stocks vol doubled in a week. Folks are getting nervous, man. Folks are getting nervous, and whenever people are nervous, it's good to have a hedge on. So this is another potential way to hedge, and it's using SDS. So let me pull this up, and it would be a short-term trade. Folks, we're not going to wall around here wallow around this 50-day. We're going to either break it or go up with earnings. So again, this bullish double vertical in SDS I'm going to show you, I'm going to use the word hedge. Now, let me take a minute to explain the difference between a trade and a hedge. A trade, Wiz wants to make money on. My mouth is watering. A hedge is if this makes money, it means my longs are getting hammered, and this is lessening the sting. And I'm going to use any potential profit in that to roll back into some of the longs that are getting hit. It's a great strategy, folks, to employ. Hedges, making money, let's cash out of them, put them in some of the longs that are getting hammered. Facebook, Apple, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. None of those are going out of business tomorrow, folks. I mean, even look at the 2008 financial tsunami. Oh my God, cats and dogs living together. The VIX is at 90. Our economic system's going to collapse. It didn't, right? If you bought at that creepy 666 bottom on the S&P 500, you're on your yacht right now listening to me. So, a hedge, okay, Benoit, you hedge a trade, you don't trade a hedge, or be quick. That's exactly right. So let me take a look. So, give you my strategic mindset, cautiously bullish. The target is SDS. Now remember, we have to fly inverted with this. If I do a bullish double vertical on SDS, I believe the market's going to go down. Okay? Lavrov, we see attempts to sabotage our cooperation. The market's rebounding off that. So this is a hedge, guys. In addition to an SPX bear put spread, this is a potential hedge. You ready? Yep, frank and substantial. That's I wonder if they'll show film from the Putin Putin get together. So let me go out a couple weeks. Let's go out to the end of April, the beginning of May to look at a potential hedge. And wow, the bid ask on these is you could drive a truck through, and there's really no open interest. Let's find some strikes with some. There's some open interest. Let me at least map the trade out here. Let me show you how to do a bullish double vertical on SDS. No, Tom, that's not true. I'm seeing open interest. There's open interest here. There's open interest there. There's open interest in it. It's not. We might be moving the market in this. At least let me cover the trade, guys. So SDS is the target. The commit criteria is, I've just been giving it to you for about 20 minutes about why I'm committing capital to an SDS bullish double vertical. If we're going to break, which we kind of have. Look, the last time we tested the 50-day, we didn't break it this hard. We broke it now, not with a ton of airspeed, but any sort of sneeze, and we could break with serious airspeed. So, and good question. If you have the bear put spread on right now, I don't necessarily wouldn't double hedge, so to speak, with this. I'm just showing you another tactic and another symbol you can use to hedge. But if you're really, really nervous, hell, this is I'd almost call this a trade if you're that nervous. So let me click Create Spread because I think if we are going to roll over, it's going to be pretty damn quick here. So just like the video yesterday, I didn't expect to do a bullish double vertical on SDS right now, but I'm kind of feeling it here. So let me just throw some strikes on here and we'll talk through it. So you're getting double your money here, man. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Breaking news, unusual activity in the SDS. Yeah, where's John and Pete Najarian? Once again, Top Gun Options is moving the market. And this is what puts a smile on my face. We might be able to get this hedge for a credit, which means, yep, I love this. Let me play with something here, guys, and I'll be right back. Let me see how many contracts I can do here. I'm not trying to lose you. Just give me a maybe 125 contracts. I like this. This is good, man. What a great week to be doing full throttle. I showed you last week our weekly options trades made $5,300 on 3 trades. Now, all right, here we go, guys. So this is good. I like talking through this one with everything that's going on. Here we go. This is called a bullish double vertical. Okay, so unlike the urgent alert I sent out yesterday, a bearish double vertical on VXX, this is a bullish double vertical, meaning I think the market's going to go down. And if it goes down, here's the blue line. That blue line right there, guys, is SDS. That's the ProShares Ultra Short. When you're short something, you want it to go down. So if the market goes down, this blue line is going to move to the right. Just with the picture here, guys, you can see what a double vertical is. It's two vertical spreads on top of each other with the same strategic mindset. In this case, bullish on SDS, bearish on the overall market. Okay? Yeah, he is. I can tell he's talking. Yeah, U.S. Russia have common goal to defeat ISIS. Blah blah blah. So, you know, it's Jim. Hey guys, VXX, SDS, all these type of things that rebalance. Of course, they have contango, guys. That's why you don't do these longer term. You do these longer term, and it's a stupid trade. This is why I'm doing it out to like April 28th, because it's a quick strike potential hedge. So let me get this on, guys, and I'll answer questions. A lot of good stuff here, man. I can tell people are chomping at the bit to be TGO members because you have great questions, and I'm going to teach you all of this stuff. Let's take a look at this. So if you're bullish that something's going to go up, what could you do? Well, Wiz, I could buy a bull call spread on SDS, and I'd look at you and shake my head and say, why? What do you mean, why? I think it's going up. Folks, if you think something is going to go up, if you think SDS is going to go up because the market might head down, let me, I asked this in the video rhetorically yesterday on VXX. Now let me ask it to you live. If you think something's going to go up, what do you also think it's not going to do? If you think something's going to go up, what do you think it's also not going to do? Let me hear. Exactly. Yeah, it might not go down. So, and I'm not asking that to you know, be whatever. I'm asking that seriously because people who say, all right, Wiz, I agree with your strategic mindset and your commit criteria, I'm going to put on a bull call spread. Why? If you think it's going up, you also don't think it's going to go down. So why don't you put on a bull put spread that pays for the damn call spread? And it's as if 1,000 voices just cried out, ah, doesn't that make sense, folks? If I'm going to do an options trade and I can have somebody else help finance it, why wouldn't you do that? Exactly. I'm getting a lot of ahas and everything like that. So I'm going to sell, which means what? When you sell something, you bring in coin. I'm going to sell the 13 bull put spread. Okay, Wiz, brilliant. Why 125 contracts? I'll get to that in a second. Rebecca, it's brilliant every time I hear it. Yep, that's it. I need to say it every once in a while. So folks, this is a credit spread. Remember, a bull put spread is a credit spread. You're going to get 8 training sessions with Doug when you sign up, folks. So if you don't know what the hell a credit spread is, we got you. We'll take care of that. Matter of fact, Doug's going to do his vertical spread training tonight, which you're going to learn. So I'm going to take in some coin to do this bull put spread, and I'm going to do what with it? I'm going to buy a bull call spread, which is a debit spread. And I'm going to buy the 14 and a half. Now, I'm not going to get into a commission. Wiz, why don't you use a dollar-wide strike and less contracts? And folks, I don't get into commissions. Whenever you hear the word commission come out of anybody's mouth, I don't care if it's a realtor, a yacht broker, or your broker, commission, strike that word and put in negotiable. Put that word in there instead and write down the word negotiable. Commissions are negotiable. I don't cover them. Separate topic we can talk about over a beer. So look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This bullish double vertical that makes money if SDS goes up as the market goes down. Look at this. This should put a massive smile on your face. It's a credit. Whoa. Hold on, Wiz. You're telling me that I could get paid to hedge against a possible market pullback here? Yeah. Welcome to Top Gun Options, folks. And I know, because I saw some support tickets, people are like, I have never seen that type of tactic, and thank you. You're welcome. This is why I'm here, man. Let me take a screenshot, because I'm going to send this out to my AR members, post it on our page, send out the email. Now, I'm going to click Create Order, and there's a couple ways. Let's get into Step 5, Tactical Employment. There's a couple ways to place this trade, folks. You could do it as one big this comes across a market maker screen as what? A double vertical. People know what it is, folks. If you're not getting filled on it, and I saw a question from, who was it, Kavan in the Ready Room that said, hey, not filled on the VXX trade yesterday, you can leg into this trade, okay? I'll take a look at the risk in a second here, guys. Legging into it means simply breaking it up into two spreads. I could break it up into the bull put spread and the bull call spread. So just enter it as two separate trades. Okay. SDS dropping. If you're looking at it that tactically, Scott, you're not seeing the forest through the trees. I'm not following this tick by tick, guys. This is a strategic hedge, man. You know, the market's moving around probably right now on listening to the press conference here. It's not like peace, love, and understanding is going to break out, okay? Tillerson said the other day that Russia was complicit in this gas attack. If you listen to every word of that, that means Putin or Russia or whoever can be charged with a war crime. Using chemical weapons is a crime against humanity. And anybody hear of a word called Nuremberg? So I don't think even with a great press conference that the all clear has been sounded and we're best friends with Russia again. That ain't happening. We've already said that we might do further strikes into Syria, and Lavrov, before they're shaking hands, said, you guys lob any more missiles in there, you got some serious problems with us. So, Juan, good question. And the answer, I think you asked that in the Ready Room. The answer is no. Juan asked, well, which one do you put on first? I don't care. I mean, with SDS going up rate, it doesn't matter to me, folks. If the market is moving violently, when you get on board and you become a member, I'll tell you which one you should put on first. But right now, if you want to break this up into two separate spreads, you can do it. But let me get to the end of the trade, and we'll talk through some stuff, okay? So, volume on put spreads increasing first, now call spreads catching up for SDS. Exactly, guys. We're starting. Maybe it's us. Maybe our TGO members are moving the market here. That's pretty funny. But here we go. I'm going to click Analyze, guys. And the first place you're going to look is where? Mr. Unhappy Face, right? We're going to look at the sad face first. And I'm going to crack your knuckles if you don't look, right? I'm going to be a nun. Max potential loss, $5,200. That is right in line with my SOP. If this is your first webinar here in Full Throttle Week, first of all, welcome aboard. And second of all, know that I have SOPs when I trade. Standard operating procedures. I do not, this is my personal rule of thumb as a portfolio manager, I do not want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. Why 5,000? That's me, folks. That's me. That's 25 years of doing this, a quarter of a century. That's the amount of risk I'm okay with. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be doing backflips if I lose $5,200. That doesn't make me happy. But what does make me happy is, first of all, I'm getting paid to put this hedge on. And second of all, if this does make money, I can redeploy the potential $7,200 in profit into my longs that are getting hammered. Okay, so let me get a screenshot of this too. And let me cover the metrics. I'll cover the metrics real quickly because they're very, very important. Wait, hold on a second here. Let me grab this. Because I know some of you are sitting here going, well, Wiz, the potential for a max profit using at the money vol is about 15%. Yeah. And the potential for max potential loss is 20%. Yeah. Look how low those probabilities are, guys. One of the reasons those are so low is because they are showing the best case scenario and worst case scenario for SDS. But now look at this, guys. Look at the break even. There's a 61% probability that this trade at least breaks even. That should put a smile on your face. So you have, this is kind of a nice ejection seed like this, okay? So I really, really like it. And I talked yesterday for a while in the Urgent Alert video about how to potentially manage a double vertical. Let me talk real quick through this. And again, I don't want to make you drink more from the fire hose than you already are. But trade management in this real quick, since I am following my trade plan, is if the market does roll over here, somebody says something stupid in the press conference and we implode, SDS is going to pop. It's going to spike. If it spikes and we're seeing some nice profits, first of all, if you think we're going to keep rolling over, sit here and drink your coffee and enjoy the profits in SDS on this hedge. But if we get a quick spike because something happened and it looks like it's not the end of the world, which spread would you take off first? Okay, if you're seeing profits in this double vertical, the bull put spread's making money and the bull call spread's making money. If you watched the Urgent Alert video yesterday, which spread would I close first to take some profits? Ready, go. That's exactly right. The bull call spread. Chris, you're right. The debit spread. Why? A debit spread hates theta. It hates time decay. As I'm talking, that spread hates it. So if you're seeing some profits in the debit spread, close that one first and let the bull put spread ride. Just let it ride there, folks, because a credit spread loves theta. It loves the time decay, right? So I'd keep the bull put spread on and let it ride. Another way to potentially manage this trade, folks, is if Uncle Wiz is doing 125 contracts, the market does roll over and we see a spike in SDS. You know what I could do? Maybe I close 75 contracts and let the other 50 ride as a hedge. Does that make sense? Rogelio, debit spread. Wiz, I cannot wait to work with your team on the training to learn these types of tactics. Isn't this awesome? I am a fairly new member and looking forward to receiving my seat for the training. Rogelio, you got about 14 minutes left until I open the slot, so you can get yours. Arnie, close the debit spread first. Enjoy the, yeah, exactly. All right. Those are older answers. So let me get this on. Actually, let me stop talking about it since we never know what's going to happen in this market. So I'm going to fire that one down range. And this, again, looking at this screen right here, guys, smile. And I appreciate the positive comments on, I've never learned how to hedge anywhere else before. Thank you, Wiz. Looking forward to grabbing my slot. Steve, again, guys, give me a couple minutes. We got all the time in the world to grab our slots here. Let's worry about getting hedges on, okay? Frank, the full throttle training is worth the price of admission. Doug is a patient, awesome teacher. Yep, we'll see Doug later tonight. All right, guys. This on this screen right here is what should give you the biggest smile as somebody who is partaking in our open house. Somebody just walked into my front door and said, you know what, Wiz, I'm going to pay for your USAA auto, home, and life for the next couple weeks out to April 28th. We're going to pay for you to be hedged against a market pullback. I'm bringing in $1,000 credit, folks. Yeah, Becky, this is an 8-cent credit. What's 8 cents times 125? We're bringing in $1,000 credit to be hedged, man. Let me get a golf clap. I mean, am I seeing light bulbs turn on? I see a lot of positive comments of people who've never seen this type of stuff before. Well, then welcome aboard TGO. And I'm not just saying that because I know. We literally still have members here who have been here since day one. It's not that they didn't learn anything. It's that they're here for the camaraderie and the good trade ideas. Exactly. Bravo. Awesome. Excellent. Good. Thanks, God. Rebecca, I'm good. I can sleep. Got the SPX hedge. Same price as before. Learn to hedge here. Thanks, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Mike, Monty Python. There was much rejoicing. Exactly. And the political rants. I appreciate that. Rep Palmer, or how big an account do you need to put on this trade? I can't answer that. That depends on how big your account is, how much you want to hedge. Remember, folks, you can't be perfectly hedged. I have 3 children. Of course, I'm always worried about them, but if I wrap them in bubble wrap and throw them in the room for 18 years, they're never going to experience life or have any risk. So that is a longer discussion, how much to hedge based on your portfolio size. So Mr. Palmer or Mrs. Palmer, you need to sign up, and I will give you a full in-depth brief on hedging and stuff like that. Jim, this is I don't know what you're talking about, Jim. This is a 2 times. This is an ultra. The SDS is a 2 times ETF. Maybe you're confused here, man. SH is a single inverse ETF. This is the ProShares short, SH, and then SDS is the ProShares ultra short. This is the 2 times one. So maybe you got that backwards or something like that. Okay. So, all right. You know what, guys? Let me hold off on all these good questions and comments because we're running out of time here. I wanted to try and get my Facebook trade on. I don't want to rush it, but I'm going to hold off. For all those, if I don't answer your question, you definitely want to become a member, obviously, because you're thinking good stuff here. And the market's actually recovering a little bit. So Lavrov won a thorough probe of chemical attack in Syria. Good. So again, guys, if you think we're going to bounce off this 50-day, maybe you don't hedge, and maybe you make me nervous. So let me get my since I said I'm cautiously bullish, let me get my damn bullish trade on for the session here. Facebook. We've been printing money in Facebook year to date, man. This is a little bit of a breakdown and sell-off going into earnings. Earnings are on 5.2, 5.3. So 5.3 are earnings. So we could, technology stocks tend to channel into earnings. Last time we kind of saw some choppy trade. We saw a pop, we saw a drop, and then we saw earnings. But this time, I really do like this like 139, 138 level out a couple weeks. Okay, so I'm committing capital to this trade because the commit criteria is I believe that Facebook is going to at least hold the, the 139-ish level. I don't think we're going to see a massive sell-off going into earnings. So this is a pre-earnings trade. I do not do earnings trades. That's why Doug is here. He and I have different expertise. So we're looking pretty good. And Apple's right around that time as well. Sal, the 125 contracts on that last trade was based on risk. It wasn't. Yes, it is based on a $100,000 portfolio. Remember, folks, my SOP is I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. That's me. That's what I do. Okay, what you guys do on your with you and your RIA and all those folks with the that can give you advice is on your side of the computer. Nick, way long a question. I'll try and get to that at the end, guys. I want to get my Facebook trade on, and then I got to open the slots here because people are clamoring at the bit here so we don't sell out, which obviously we will. It's just whether or not we fill them all before Friday or not. Or we had our last full throttle. I think we filled out almost after tonight's session. But let's go. Facebook. I'm going to go out. Let's go out. You can do a trade. You can choose the expiration that is after earnings, but I would not hold this trade through earnings. So I might, look at a May expiry here. But guess what? I will manage this trade and get out of it before earnings. Okay, so let me. I think it was a 138. Since I looked at this trade pre-market, Facebook's moved. What do I have? 70. Let me just do this real quick. So the tactic is called a bull put spread. Let me just take a look at contract size here. That's pretty close. Let me take a look at the. I like this. This is the one that I liked. Okay, so here we go, folks. Here is the trade. Kevon, we do have that one on. This is a new Facebook trade. We have an existing bull put spread, folks, which I'm holding. So for my AR traders, and that's a hold. This is a new one for that I'm going to add, and I'm going to double up here. Kevon, I can't tell you. I'm not a big roller, so to speak. I'm holding the other one because I still think it's going to, this softness in the market. Again, guys, you have to listen to me. My strategic mindset is what? It's cautiously bullish. So if I'm cautiously bullish, I think we're going to hold here. And we have enough ejection seats that if we break here, we're good. So this is I just gave you a cautiously trade, and now I'm going to give you the bullish. So I'm bullish on Facebook. I am putting on a bull put spread. I'm going to sell 75 of the May 5th. That's after earnings, folks. I am not holding this through earnings. You're gambling. I don't throw darts, man. I don't gamble. It's for suckers. Of the 138 puts. So when I sell these puts, this is me saying, hey, market, hey, Facebook, I don't think you're going to be below 138 by expiration. Well, Wiz, what if you're wrong, man? This is the first time in a long time that you've been trading Facebook that it decides to sell off before earnings. Well, that would suck, but that's why we're buying 75 of these puts. If we wake up one day during the life of this trade and Mark Zuckerberg's on an airplane to the Caymans with every penny from Facebook and it goes to zero, well, below 137, we don't care. We're long those puts. This is called a bull put spread. It's also called what? A credit spread. You're going to learn with me, folks. I don't use credit or debit that often, except in like to add color to it. I like talking about what the tactic is. I'm bullish on Facebook, and it's a put spread, bull put spread. Okay? Sell off before earnings. This is a post-earnings trade. Peter, I said it about 8 times, man. I'm not holding this through earnings. I will manage this and take profits before. Remember, we get theta, we get time decay. I know an increase in Vega. I don't want to get into a Greek talk, folks. That's Doug's job. Increasing Vega does hurt this trade, but it doesn't matter. The time decay, I'll show you the time decay in a second here, guys. We got to get moving. We're supposed to be an hour in AR. But I know I took some of the intro time to, again, welcome aboard folks that are new. Facebook, so you're getting 2 trades in AR today, which is awesome. But we need the hedge, guys. We really are on the precipice. We're still trying to figure out up 6, down 9, down 4. I think the market's trying to figure out where we're going. All right, I'm going to go mid-market. As soon as I click analyze, everybody's going to look at what? Max risk first. I say this every time. You'll hear this for the next couple years here at TGO because it has to become second nature. You always look at max potential loss first. $4,600. That's right in line with my SOP of not wanting to risk more than $5,000. And once I give a vertical head, folks, if you're not okay with this number, whatever your number is, lower the amount of contracts, right? Or do something. You always, options traders, fighter pilots, we look at risk first, and then I can look at Mr. Happy Face. I guarantee you, many of you, the thousands of you that have registered that are your normal retail trader, when I clicked analyze, if I hadn't said to look at here first, you'd all be staring at this going, hell, I want to make $3,000, $2,900 in a couple weeks. Who doesn't? But you have to see if you're okay with potential losing it all. Now, the metric that should make you a little bit happier is what? The 61% probability of a break even. Let's talk real quick about the Greeks. I love being the house, guys. I told you, a car dealer, a Vegas casino, whatever it is. Look down here at the Greek called theta, time decay. You see that down there? You ready? As we hop in our time machine and go forward, theta eats away at this trade to the tune of something good, right? Write this down. Unched on the day equals time decay. What? Okay, did you sneeze there at the beginning, Wiz? No, I said unchanged. Unched, U-N-C-H-D. Unched on the day equals time decay. Okay, so if we put this trade on right now and get filled, and Facebook is unchanged by the end of the day, what did we get? Time decay. Unched on the day equals time decay. So this trade makes money 3 ways, folks. Facebook can go up, Facebook can wallow around, and Facebook can even go down a little bit. That's why it's a beautiful thing to be an options trader, folks. This trade, if you're bullish on Facebook and you're a fool and you just trade stocks, well, I'm buying it. Well, you got the buy, hope, and pray method. You can make, money 3 ways too, meaning it goes up. As an options trader, I can make money if Facebook stays where it is, goes down a little bit, or obviously goes up. Okay? Now, I'm going to put this trade on, and I'm going to try and get filled plus or minus about 3 cents, meaning I'd go up to 41-cent credit and maybe down to about a 35-cent credit. Anything outside of that, Facebook's moving around a little bit too much, and I'd have to reevaluate my strikes, okay? And for my members, I also talk about 2 levels in a trade. The adjust point, in case it goes against me, and also the eject point. When are we getting out of this thing for not max loss, okay? Write this down for all my new full throttle folks that are sitting here going, wow, this is awesome. Write it down, and again, you're drinking from the fire hose, but that's why you're going to sign up here in about 7 minutes. I double the credit that I take in, okay? What's that? 76 cents, meaning if this call spread goes up in value to about 76 cents, that's a bad thing. Remember, I want all 38 cents in my pocket. I want this trade to essentially to go to 0. I want 38 cents, I want 30, I want 25, I want 20. You want all of that credit, folks. If it starts going up, that means Facebook is going down. So if I wake up tomorrow and this is now a 50-cent credit, Facebook's going down a little bit. That's when I scratch my chin and go, is there something wrong with this trade that I should be worried about? I call that the adjust point. That's when I scratch my chin and say, hey, should I adjust this trade? So there's 2 points in a trade. I will thoroughly explain this, folks, when you become a member. I just don't have time right now to explain those adjust and eject levels in super, super detail. Okay? Ken, that's kind of what I covered. Jim, I covered that with Kavan. I'm staying in the original Facebook bull put spread because I think we recover. If you wanted to roll it down to these strikes, roll it down and out, that's a pilot and command decision. I'm not. Okay? So, okay, guys, you know, ton of great questions. I'll tell you what, give me about 5 minutes to go through this, and I will answer as many questions as I can. Okay, I can't go super long, but I will try and get as many as I can. 38 cents, Ray, is the credit I'm looking for, plus or minus 3 cents, I said. Okay. All right, guys, so let me get the full throttle slots open here because I know people are chomping at the bit to get started. And yeah, people are already, yeah, we're getting a ton of emails and support. You guys are trying to front run. That's funny, trying to front run everybody else. That's awesome. All right, here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, this is industry leading. As of now, as soon as I put the link up, the full throttle slots are officially going to be open. We only have 50. And you've probably seen, if you've been in these sessions since Monday night, why we only do 50. Doug and I can't handle a zoo. With 1,000 people in a live trading room, I can't. That's like sitting in, a USC class, Econ 101. The professor's in the gym with 100 students, and then there's satellite, we can't. I like a tight trading group because nobody leaves any of my live trade briefs with a question mark over their head or a clue bird flapping on their shoulder, period. So we keep our, based on, we only do these full throttles when we get some churn, when people are like, hey, Wiz, I got my Top Gun options patch. This is awesome. I'm heading out to the fleet. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you don't stay at Top Gun forever. You go to Top Gun, you get, we call it going to the mountain. You get all the knowledge of the current tactics and everything like that, and then you go back to your fleet squadron and you spread the knowledge, you spread the love. Now, obviously, as a businessman, I want you to stay at TGO forever. But my greatest metric of success is when folks say, hey, Wiz, this is awesome. I've been here for a year and a half, 2 years. I'm going to go spread the word. And Fish is in here. JP's in here. I have a Ponzi scheme of FedEx guys. Fish came in like 3 or 4 years ago, brought JP. JP brought K9, and then we're bringing T-Humps. These guys were down at the Boca Resort. I bought them drinks a couple weeks ago. It's almost like a pyramid. The guys, when they find out about TGO, they go tell their friends. So I'd love for you to stay here forever, but based on when we have churn, we open this up. So now we're opening up our next full throttle session for 2017, and make sure you definitely come to the rest of the sessions, even if you're like, I can't do it. You're absolutely going to do it. So let's do this. Here's the portfolio gains of 2016. You've seen the year-to-date gains. That was the PLTB. We had an incredible year, and I showed you the urgent alert and the weekly options portfolio. Man, we have a 92% hit rate with our weekly options year-to-date. I showed you last week, folks, that we made $5,300 in 3 weekly options trades. The 3 trades last week in weekly options paid for a year and a half of a full throttle membership in 1 week. Now remember, folks, men lie, numbers don't. And let me just show you those for the folks that are new. Let me go back here and show you what happened last week. So let's just debrief again last week, because where are they? These slides right here. So last week, let me show you this stuff. A banner week. So let me just go through this again. I said, how'd you do last week? Here's how we did. With Susan Rice, Nunez resigning, ADP numbers blow off. Remember, when the ADP numbers came out last Wednesday, what did I do? I sold a bear call spread on SPX. And let me show you how that did. Because Janet, the FOMC minutes came out Wednesday afternoon, and she poo-pooed all over that. Then the Rockets red glare on Thursday. Gorsuch, the read option on Friday, and then payrolls crumbled to 98 grand. Holy volatile week, Batman. What did we do? Manohar, give me 5 minutes, guys, to put out the link, okay? I will brief you on the cost and where do you sign up. So everybody just relax. And then obviously President Z and Donald Trump 15 miles up the road in Palm Beach. I was literally sitting out at the Grand Lux Cafe last Thursday night with my daughter eating lemon chicken, which was phenomenal. And I had this back and forth with one of my Commanding Officers Club clients. The Commanding Officers Club is the highest service we have here at TGO. We'll talk about that other time. It's one-on-one coaching. You get this type of access to me, email, and you get my cell phone number, so you give me a call whenever you need. So I literally said at 6:54, hey, sit on your hands, keep your powder dry. I think we're going to lob some cruise missiles into Syria. Everybody, you can read this email back and forth on our Facebook page, but look at 9:23. Look all the way at the bottom. You see the news? So isn't that awesome? So here's what we did. 3 weekly options trades. A Goldman Sachs bear call spread made $1,100 last week. This was the SPX bear call spread I sold Wednesday. Wednesday morning when the ADP popped the markets. And what happened? This made $1,100 in 4 hours. And then I had an SPX Iron Condor on that made $3,300. 3 shots, 3 kills for $5,300. So remember that number, $5,300. Remember that number here. You ready? So let me go back to our slides down here. $5,300 in a week. That's what our members saw. So, and again, folks, this is a way busy slide here. Scotty, Wiz, I've been a member for 2 weeks. I'm up $8,200 in closed trades, Facebook, SPX, and Amazon. This guy made $8,200 in 2 weeks, and this was a couple weeks ago. John, we'd like to thank you, Wiz. Thanks to TGO for your mentoring. I have netted over 15K this month. Thanks for all you do in your teachings. And then here's our Goldman Sachs people who just printed money with the Goldman Sachs trade. Mike was up $135,000. Kavan, there's Kavan in there, $9 grand on Facebook and Amazon last week. Scott, 34 grand. Jim Luther, Jim's in here. I'm in AR, Accelerator Retirement. Did Iron Condor around your SPX bull put spread, killing it, up $19,735, 83% harvested. I'm not going to read all these, folks, except this one at the bottom right. I love David's quote. I hate your politics, but love the way you print money. Thanks for your service. Best money I spent so far in my trading career. So, guys, hopefully by this point in the week, Harry, I'm going to email those trades out. I told you I don't send text alerts out. I think you ask me that every week. There are no text alerts with AR, Harry. It's only email because they're not super timely. Folks, trading's combat. When you think about it, what do we use in combat? We use human capital, man. There ain't anything more priceless than a human life. What do we use in trading? Physical capital. We also, in combat, need to do intense planning and intel gathering. Same in trading. Solid tactics that support a strategy. We have to manage risk. We have to contingency plan. Does anybody, let me get a show of hands, folks. By now, do I have a couple believers in what? That trading is a form of combat, and that here at TGO, this is the place you need to be. So here we go. I'm going to fire the starting gun here in a couple minutes, and you guys can grab your slots. This is our full throttle program, folks. There's nothing like this in the industry. Trust me. I'm no idiot. I go out and do my counter intel gathering, and I go play secret shopper at other services who surprisingly sometimes have the exact same trades as me, which is really weird. But anyway, I digress. Here's how it works. If you're an aggressive type of trader, you want to stick your fangs out and attack this market, and you want to get aggressive, we have a track for you. You know what, Wiz? A little bit more conservative. We're hanging around this 50-day. I want to keep my powder dry. I'm a little bit more conservative. We have a track for you. And finally, you know what, Wiz? I want to be a little aggressive. I want to be a little bit conservative. I want to be both of those things, which is our most popular track. So here we go. Here's the portfolios I manage, just to be clear. I do weekly options at 1 o'clock on Monday. You guys did the primary live trade brief yesterday with me at 10 a.m. and you can kind of use them. I'm using like the ski slope. If you're a skier, you know what that means. But remember, folks, even though I put weekly options as a black diamond, it's not expert or anything. It's just it's a little bit more tactical, and it requires a little bit more care and feeding, right? And obviously, you're in accelerated retirement right now, Wednesday at 1. And then I did the urgent alert yesterday. I usually do them on Thursday, but since Doug's pretty busy tomorrow with his stuff, I decided to do it yesterday. So there's my portfolios that you're going to get access to. Then tonight, you're going to meet Doug. He does the advanced live trade brief on Thursday. You'll be with him tomorrow morning. And he also sends out his advanced trade alerts. Okay? And he also obviously teaches the full throttle training. So those are Doug's portfolios. And he does Wingman group coaching. We can talk about that some other time. So now, folks, it's time for you to choose your track. Up until about a year and a half ago, I was kind of one size fits all. And then you know what I do? I debrief. I ask my members, hey, man, how can I get better? Hit me right between the eyes with something. And we came up with this because of you guys. So here we go. If you want to take the offensive track, you get everything that I just covered, but instead of accelerated retirement, substitute weekly options. That means you're kind of offensive. You're more aggressive, okay? So here is the link, folks. Write this down, and I'm actually I'll post the link in the chat box, and I'll see how many go right off the bat here. So here we go. Here's the URL, folks. go.topganoptions.com/FT-now. And as soon as I said now, I know people are, I'll put the link in here so you can click on it. Now don't do me a favor, don't go anywhere and go try and grab your slot. Let me just finish the rest of it, okay? But since the URL is up there, I guess I should say it. This URL also works. I guess it's a little easier to say. It's /getft. So hang on a second. Don't go there yet. Let me explain the other packages. The defensive one, instead of doing weekly options, you do accelerated retirement. Like, you know what, Wiz, weekly options, probably need to step into those maybe down the road. Folks, you can upgrade whenever you want. So the defensive track is everything we do here, and instead of weekly options, you do AR, you do accelerated retirement, okay? Now, and that, you know, so this is you. You're a little bit more, you're in your E2 Hawkeye with that radar scope, looking a little further down range, a little bit more conservative, all right? Now, the most popular package that we do here, folks, is the Max Afterburner track. It's everything we do, and accelerated retirement, and weekly options, okay? There's some recent weekly options trades from some of our members there. I took that off the chat box recently. $2,100 on an SPX bear call spread. $975 in a day with Dennis, the Oracle of Options, JD. Scott, $1,100 in one trade. I showed you last week, folks, 3 trades, $5,300. Isn't that incredible? And yes, this is for 1 year, guys. These are 1-year memberships. I love that question because some of you are like, wow, that should be the monthly price. So let me get to all that stuff in a couple. Yeah, cool. That's exactly right. You hate marketing, but your trades are the marketing. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys do see that the performance speaks for itself, because I hate this part of full throttle. Having to do this. I'm a trader. I'd rather be talking about trades, but this is how I open the slot. So folks, this will be you if you do the Max Afterburner track, man. At night on the catapult, full throttle, full afterburner. Here's the URL, go.topganoptions.com/getft. Now, remember, folks, the last customer survey, the last member survey I did, nearly 80% of you work for a living. Duh. But you don't have to attend the sessions. Everything's recorded. The replay, it takes, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes to render it, and then I post it. But guess what? I email the trades out, and in a lot of the services, you get a text alert, okay? And look at this guy right here, Chris. I'm so geeked. I've been a subscriber for almost 3 years now, and this is the first time I've been able to attend you live. I only watched the replays, okay? Peter, I'm a PLTV monthly member now. What do I do? I'll give you a number to call, Peter, if you want to upgrade into a full throttle slot. All right. So, and I'm also going to go mafia on you here. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, because you're going to get all the manuals, right? You get the primary, the intermediate, the advanced manuals. You can download these. These are a must read. Okay, Seth, done. Excellent. So the slots are, my phone's buzzing, which means people are already, Cindy, nope, we don't do trials, man. You're in a trial, Cindy. The reason we opened the door for a week, that you just got your trial. So that was your trial, the full throttle week. And you also got the OPCL. All right, so let's get airborne, guys. There are no catches. The only catch is that there are 50 slots available. Last full throttle we did, I think 11 or 12 of them went before during me doing this right now. And then more are going to go tonight after you meet Doug. So this is going to fill up pretty quickly, folks. It's a tight-knit squadron where a lot of mutual support. You're going to become friends. We got a live event coming up. It really is a tight squadron, guys. And once you find a home here, you're not going anywhere. Yes, Bill, everything's recorded like I just said 80 times. So, folks, let me go to the page real quick to talk through the tracks if you're looking at it. So here we go. Here is the page that you should all be on to grab your slot. Let me put the link in here again for folks who didn't get it the first time. So let me go through all the tracks here. And yes, these are annual memberships, guys. These aren't monthly, although based on their performance, these could be the monthly fees. So here's the defensive track. Like I said, guys, you get everything that we do, but you, instead of weekly options, you get the accelerated retirement service. And you can jump in between these guys. If you do the defensive first and say, you know what, Wiz, after a month or two, I'm ready to trade weekly options. You can upgrade to the offensive, which has everything we do, and the weekly options, okay? The defensive track is $19.95 for a full year. And like I said earlier, guys, you get the training, and the next time we do a full throttle course, you get all of this for free again. That's $495. So on this page right here, guys, is Doug's full throttle training schedule. Trading methodology and tools, the Greeks, vertical spreads, iron condors. You will get 2 hours of live training on each one of those subjects. But let me go back up here real quick, guys, to cover the tracks. The offensive track is everything we do, but we throw weekly options instead of AR. But everybody go over here to the right because this is where everybody usually ends up. This is usually $9,000 a year, folks. It's $29.95. With one trade last week, ladies and gentlemen, that I showed you, one trade, the SPX Iron Condor, it made $3,300 on $4,000 of risk. One trade, I paid for a max afterburner slot for an entire year. Isn't that freaking cool? David, I just got my tax return and I've rewarded myself with max afterburner. Excellent. Okay. So go. Slots are open. Slots are airborne. On this page, folks, I break down a little bit more so you can read everything I just said, what the offensive track is, what the defensive track is. I think the average with our full throttle launches is about 80% of the people get the max slot. But if you want to start lower, that's up to you. Thanks, James. I appreciate that. Love what you do. So here's the flight schedule. If you have any questions about anything, you can give us a call or shoot us an email, support@topgunoptions.com. I know it's probably easier to shoot us an email because I know the phone's going to be going like crazy. I don't know why you need to call to order. Welcome to 1990. We have something called the internet. Just grab your slot here. But if you do have a phone call, our client advisors can help you out. That number is 754-300-1084. Okay, 754-300-1084. Frank, good point. Might want to mention to new members that prices are frozen as long as you stay a member. That's the best deal, guys, is obviously based on our performance, we could double these membership fees. If we do double those membership fees down the road, you are grandfathered in. I give you my word. I'm a naval aviator. I'm an office. First of all, I'm a man of my word. I was raised like that. Poor Irish kid from South Jersey. But I give you my word. Once you grab your full throttle slot at this price, you're immune against any future price increases. And they go up, folks. I remember our first full throttle in, what was it, 2010? I think it was like $495. And then it went to $990. It goes up almost each year, guys. So I would grab my slot now. And not only are you inoculated against all future price increases, you are inoculated against, or you get access to all of Doug's training every time he does them. So we sell the training just by itself, ladies and gentlemen, for $495. So every time Doug does we do a new full throttle, you guys get his training all over again for free. And I love the feedback I get from some people who are like, hey, Wiz, I've done, I get, I learn more from Doug each time I go and watch him. So welcome aboard to Seth. Seth is on board. Los Angeles, there's a lot of Steve. Hey, from Jersey, what exit? So a lot of maxes are going right now as I'm talking to you folks. Let me show you some of the benefits as well that I didn't brief on being a member here. You get access to what is called the Ready Room. Now, the Ready Room of a fighter squadron is where you hang out, you know, with the junior pilots, your peers, the senior pilots, the commanding officer. And, you know, I learned more about flying and fighting the Hornet in the Ready Room than I did from any book. So here's the Ready Room, and this is our interactive forum. So if you need to get a hold of Doug or I in between sessions, you know, here's a post about the Brazil ETF, SPX highest volume options, why are market hedges done with VXX rather than VIX, NVIDIA. This is our interactive forum here, guys, and it's great. Some of your fellow members answer questions. I get in there. Doug gets in there. This is awesome. Adam, training is worth full throttle price alone. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. Good, and thanks. All my current members are obviously putting in nice, kind words for me here. It really is one of those things, folks, that you really have to do. You just have to get in it, and once you're in it, like Fish has recruited 4 or 5 other members who he dragged kicking and screaming into the full throttle program, and now they're dragging people as well, and they've never looked back. So I appreciate all the kind words in the chat box, guys. Let me just go back and check on how our Facebook trades are doing. So the slots are opening, folks. I'm not filled on Facebook yet. And how are we looking on SDS? I might have to leg into this. Wow, we're down to 5 cents because the market is all right. I said plus or minus. I'll go down to 4 cents. I might have to break this up. I'll do this on my own time. I'm probably going to have to leg into this into that SDS trade here, guys. Okay. Armand, what are you talking about? Wiz, how should we manage the SPX spread? I have about 4 SPX spreads on Armand. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I'll put the link up again. Sorry. I was getting back to trading again. So here's the replay page, guys, if you missed anything, and this is your first session, like, hell, this sounds great, but I want to watch some of the other replays. Yesterday's, what do you mean, how do you manage it? Armand, please be very specific with your question. What do you mean, how do you manage? Yesterday was a hedge, man. It's on. It's a hedge. I'm not managing it. It's sitting there. Nothing to add on that. Yeah, here's the link to grab your slide, guys. Let me put it in the chat box again. All right, so for all of you who 15, 20 minutes ago who were asking me a ton of questions that I had to ignore for the sake of time, if you want to, I can't scroll up since there's hundreds of comments here. Who's got a burning either trading question or question about the tracks? Yes, I'll put the phone number up. Again, if you're a current member, just in like accelerated retirement or just in the PLTB service, and you recognize that it's a hell of a lot, it's a better deal to be in a full throttle track, then definitely give our customer reps a call, and they can hook you up here. So come on, that's a long one. I don't know if I have time to read that one. So the credit is 38 cents, Debbie, on Facebook. Will this be recorded out before the close? Miss Portfolio's overview. Yeah, Harry, as soon as I get done taking questions here, I'm going to render the recording, send out the email, and then post the recording to the page, just like I always do, man. So that's why I'm trying to get going here. July 4th. Come on, I'm going to ask you to put that one in the Ready Room, man, and I'll get to it later because I got to focus on this stuff right now. You bet. Welcome aboard. Let me see. There's a lot more other people grabbing their slot. There's, let me say welcome aboard to, who's this? Laura. Laura from Miramar Beach. Laura, you're down here in Miramar Beach. That's awesome. So you're a local. So Laura, and this is for actually everybody. Don't forget, Laura, we have a live event down in Miami on June 9th and 10th. Well, I'll talk about that some other time, guys, but on June 9th and 10th, I'll go into more detail on it, Laura, but since you're a local, I want to meet you at our live event. And obviously, folks, everybody else who's joining up, you can come to our live event as well. And let me throw that up here right now, Laura, in case you're interested. You can go to the Top Gun Options Facebook page and take a look at our event here. It's going to be awesome. Or actually, let me do this. go.tompkinoptions.com/event. So Laura, welcome aboard. And this, folks, we have, I have somebody coming from, speaking of Russia, one of our members from Russia said he's going to be in town for our event. So that's pretty cool. Oh, Miramar Beach. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so Laura, take a look at this page right here. That's our live event coming up in June. Sal, Laura's in Destin. Okay, how much time is required beyond training to execute and manage trades? Sal, it's not that much time because Doug and I manage the trades, okay? Remember, unless I don't get filled on a trade or Doug doesn't get filled on a trade, this isn't a set it and forget it. This isn't a fire and forget. Like, we are not a service. This is why you want to be here. This is not a service that like airdrops you in the middle of Afghanistan with a trade and says good luck, okay? We do a thorough brief on the trade. It's been a little fast because of time, but when you're a member, these sessions are way throttled back. There's not 1,000 people in here. We have a nice tight trading audience, and Sal, it's not a ton of time because Doug and I are putting these on, and we're the ones that managing them, and we're updating you on them. So Sal, it's not a this is not a it's a full-time job for me, but it isn't for you. Does that make sense? So not a huge time requirement. Nicholas, Wiz, I like all the things you do and say. Nicholas, do me a favor, shoot an email to support or give us a call with that question, Nicholas, 754-300-1084. Okay, Nicholas, so they're standing by right now, a couple folks to pick up the phone. So Nicholas, let them know that I said yes to your question there. Brad, hey Wiz, what is the account size required to take all your trades with minimal exposure, say 1 to 2 contracts, how many trades, blah, blah, blah. Brad, that's one of those portfolio questions that, seriously, I have to punt on those because that is a question for your RIA, your registered investment advisor, or your financial planner. They'd go out to lunch with you, sit down, make you buy lunch, of course, and then take a look at what size portfolio you have, how risk averse you are, all that type of stuff. So Brad, the model portfolios are based on $100,000 portfolios, but I'm not using all of that at one time. Remember, guys, I'm only, what account is this? This is the urgent alert and weekly options. So look, I'm not fully invested, so that portfolio isn't like all the chips are in. Okay, so Rogelio, this is great. People are so excited to join. They really are not listening to you. Rogelio, when I open the slots, it usually is a little bit of a stampede, so I don't mind if people aren't listening right now, as long as they're becoming members, and then we'll slow down next week and get back. We're going to shut the doors Friday afternoon, guys, so if you're not airborne by Friday afternoon, maybe we'll see you later in the year. But, so let's take a look at the year-to-date here on the urgent alert and weekly options. Like I said, we have been crushing it with the S&P 500, with our S&P 500 trades, folks. So look at this. We're up over 50 grand, folks. This one closed last year at $122,000. We're not even halfway through the year yet, folks, and we're on track to blow this out. Look at my stupid loser here, the XLF. What a boring trade. But look at Disney, JP Morgan, our hedges on SDS are doing, folks, this is pretty good. So very long answer to your short question there about portfolio size. Folks, we have people here at TGO who are trading a couple grand. Again, that's between them and their financial advisor. We have a billionaire here. I know that there's a billionaire here. We have multimillionaires here. We have stay-at-home moms and dads who are trading, $5, $10, $20,000 accounts. You just, to your question, Brad, you scale your own contract size. So Brad, if on my SDS trade, for example, I did 125 contracts and I didn't want to risk more than 5, again, I'm not giving you personal investment advice. I can't. So Brad, you might say, you know what, Wiz, I don't want to risk more than $2,500 on any one trade. So maybe you do half the contracts. Does that make sense, Brad? Thumbs up. Chris, that is insane. You are the man. Thanks, Chris. Did you grab your slot? Mike, we didn't have that big of a drawdown last year. I think my max drawdown was it was a rounding error. So, Sal, do you advise new members to get into new trades only? Sal, the answer is yes and no, meaning next week, Sal, when you join, I think you grabbed I don't know if you grabbed your slot or not, Sal, but meaning next week, as a member in a real session, in the real AR session, I'm going to go through each position step by step and say, hey guys, if I was a brand new member today, here are the new trades I would put on. Okay, because a lot of my trades, Sal, are already airborne. But when I get a new full throttle group that shows up, I show you what my new, look at this. So here's JP Morgan, for example, a $24,000 gainer in 8 months. Now, I'm no rocket surgeon, but if you divide, that's an average of a $3,000 gain per week. Okay? So this is the last time I had a full throttle group join in January. Look at the January 19 January trade from our last full throttle group. It's up $4,000. So Sal, when you join next Wednesday, I'm going to sit here and go, this is the JP Morgan trade, Sal, and all my 49 other new members that I would put on today. So the answer is yes and no. Does that make sense? Okay. Chris, yes, we'll sign up as soon as my wire hits my checking account. We'll hit my account tomorrow. Chris, awesome. We will probably get rid of 11 to 15 slots on average today. My son's going surfing, so I had to wave at him. So we should, yeah, you should be good to go, Chris. If your wires come in tomorrow or something like that, you're good to go. Ray, the account is up 52 grand on 122 or about 43%. Awesome. My question is, what was the performance of the full years of Ray, I just showed you 2016. Look at the slides here, guys. Let me scroll up. Here's 2016. I showed you. I can go back and get you 2015. It was a little less than 2016, but it's been a hockey stick, guys, over the years, man. The performance is just so there's 20. This is all 2016 on the screen here, guys. I've kind of showed you this a couple times. Okay, let me get back to a couple more questions, and then I'm going to split because I need to get to work here. Let me answer some more of these. Yes. Yeah, guys, Chris or whoever just said he's moving some money around as well. We should be Frank, just close the call site of this week's Iron Condor SPX trade at a nickel, $1,500 profit in 2 days. So Frank made $1,500 in 2 days this week. So $1,500 in 2 days, folks, almost pays for an annual defensive track package here, guys. So again, I can't. This is the time where I just got to kind of shut down and get back to work and get the email out and the replay. I can't, as somebody said earlier, and you're not a member because I don't even recognize your name, it sells itself. $5,300 last week just in weekly options trades, guys. That paid for a year and a half of a max membership. So I can drag you to water. If some of you are like, all right, Wiz, this is awesome, but I want to meet Doug, you got to come tonight to meet Doug to do his vertical spread training. To get a sample of what his training is going to be when he starts in a couple weeks. All the academics that you're going to get are on this page, so you can look at what Doug's going to teach you. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're going to get up, and Doug's going to do his part of the advanced live trade brief. Chris, $3,000 is a great deal. Thanks. You're welcome, man. It is a great deal. That's why grabbing these prices now, folks. The performance I just showed you, I'm on track to blow away, at least in this portfolio, what I did in 2016. So if the prices go up, you are always locked in at your annual membership. I look at my Facebook page. I got a bottle of Camus from one of our members for helping him out and setting him, really changing his life, he said. I appreciated that. So take a look at the Facebook page. But we have original full throttle people here from years ago who are paying $1,000 a year for like a max slot. So the prices go up, guys. Get on board now, grab your slot, and lock it in, okay? All right, let me just welcome aboard some more people. Like I said, we're, okay, and who is this? This is Larry Webb from Sammamish, Washington. I think, Larry, I completely obliterated that one. So my apologies if that's not the name of your town there. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I got to get going. I'm going to render the replay here. I'll put it on our webpage so you can watch the replay. I'm going to get an email out with the trades, the 2 trades that I covered. Let me see how I'm looking here. What connection isn't working, Debbie? The sales page? Debbie, if you're having a problem on the sales page, do me a favor and call this number. It's working for other people because we just had 5 or 6 max afterburner slots get taken. So Not sure. Is anybody having a problem with this page? I don't know how all these other sales went through, Debbie, if you're having a problem. Maybe, I don't know if it's on your end or, yeah, you're right, Kavan, the NHL playoffs are starting. Laura, thanks, Wiz, and looking forward to being on board and getting airborne. Laura, welcome aboard, man, or woman. And yeah, so Debbie, if you're having an issue, just pick up the phone and give us a call right now. We have our customer support reps standing by, and they can help you out on the phone. 754-300-1084. Okay. Frank, you know I got to go with the Blackhawks. They're my lock. My Flyers are out down here in South Florida. The Panthers are out. Everybody's kind of out. So I got to go with my kids and the Blackhawks. So, all right, folks. Oilers. Oh my God, that's awful. Rangers. Come on, Harry. I didn't know you're a Rangers fan. Now I'm throwing you out here. Yep, Kat, I agree with you. Blackhawks. Blackhawks, I think, are going to take it. All right, folks. That's it. I got to get going. To my members, I'll get you the replay here, and for potential members, the replay, I'll get the email out. Let's be in the room tonight at 8 o'clock so you can meet Doug. Remember, folks, the slots are going to be going here pretty quick. And when we hit 50, we're done. We close it. If we hit 50 before Friday, I'll still do our Friday debrief and everything since I've said I'm going to do it. But when we hit 50, folks, there is no, hey, can you sneak me in? Can you add another? We don't do that. Ask the folks who I've turned away before. We stop at 50, folks. I'm a man of my word. We do 50, and that's it. Okay? And then we'll be closed. So, all right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. That isn't just some cheesy tagline I came up with. I mean it. Happy hunting mean, hey, let's go hunting, get some good trades. Make sure you hedge, man. Do not swim around in this market naked because the tide might go out and it might not be pretty. Okay, we're hanging right on the precipice here. And I think in the past, dude, I love the fact that we're right here and we're doing a full throttle week because I've shown you it's easy to do a full throttle week when we're printing money and everything's going up. We printed money last week with $5,300 with 3 trades. Now I show you how to hedge. Now I show you this is the power of Top Gun options. Okay, so very, very fired up. So have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. I'll see many of you tonight at 8 o'clock for vertical spread training with Doug. If you're busy tonight, don't worry about it. Everything's recorded and it'll be on the replay page. Okay, so here's the replay page. And oh, by the way, I think my techies actually put the buttons. Yep. So if you're on the replay page, folks, you can click this big blue button here and you can grab your slot as well. Like if you needed to watch one more replay in order to make your decision, well, there it is. You can click and grab your slot right there on the blue and grab your slot as well. Okay. So there it is. All right, folks, that's it. I got to go. Got to get back to work. Welcome aboard to all the new Full Throttle members. And for folks that are moving money around and stuff like that, pre-welcome aboard to you as well. Okay, folks, I'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock. Grab a glass of Pinot Noir or something like that. Bring a little bit of a notebook so you can take some notes with Doug. And I'll see you guys tonight. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you then.